But welcome to the DifferenceMaker presentation. We're really lucky to have Holly Butler here with us, DifferenceMaker Program Director, and she's going to tell you about DifferenceMaker and introduce you to some of their teams and what they've done. We've got some really exciting things.
All right, can everybody hear me? In the back? Can you hear me? Awesome, thank you. So we have one microphone, so I'm just going to yell. If you can't hear me, let me know. And I'm nice at giving the microphone to students. So with us for pitches, please meet my name is Holly Butler. I'm actually the director of the DifferenceMaker program here. Very happy to be here. Thank you all for coming. As you know, we're taking the DifferenceMaker Seminar course. DifferenceMaker is an end-of-life program, and our goal is to engage all of you in creative problem solving, innovation, and entrepreneurship. So if any of you have ideas you want to pursue, or you see problems that you want to solve, you come to us at DifferenceMaker, and we have a variety of different resources to actually help you solve those problems and pursue those ideas. So these are some teams that came up with ideas and solve problems that they wanted to solve, and now they're actually going to share their experiences with you all. So these are very successful DifferenceMaker teams. And I'm going to start with Kara on the end. So she is from UML Green Roofs, and she won in 2017 the fan favorite prize. So Kara, to start, can you just talk a bit about your project and what sparked the idea for it?
Yeah, definitely. So we actually started our project at freshman orientation. We were asked to, during the DifferenceMaker orientation, to come up with a way to help improve UMass Lowell's goal of being carbon neutral by 2050. And we were talking about different ideas and things that would help make the school a little bit more green, and we ended up coming up with the idea for green roofs. If you haven't heard of green roofs before, basically what it is it's a lawn up on top of a roof. You put down layers of dirt, grass, and then you can put even benches and picnic tables up there. So our goal is to create a safe and outdoor study space for our students that they would be able to enjoy, that was up on top of the roofs and also having good ecological benefits for the university as well.
How many of you remember Kara at convocation? She actually pitched off on. All right. So one resource that we give to our students is through our mentor program. So we link community, friends, and alumni with our student teams, and they actually help them move their ideas forward. So Kara was actually part of that program. So if you wouldn't mind just talking a bit about the program and how those mentors work.
Yeah, of course. So to start with, you have a pitch to basically a room full of mentors that are, excited to hear about all your different ideas. There's a whole poster session. It was a fantastic evening. And from there, you pick, your top mentors based on the people that came over and talked to you, and the mentors pick their favorite teams that they want to work with. And we were very lucky to be matched with everyone we wanted to be matched with. They're absolutely amazing. Our mentors are Susan, Jack, and Stephen, and they are so incredible with their experiences and helping us out, as well as just bringing different personalities to the team because, being a bunch of college students, we definitely don't have the life experiences that they have. And they're really important to us, not just in terms of giving us advice in terms of business, but also just like, for example, if I'm, really stressed or nervous, Jack can always make me laugh. And it's just really important that they're there and they're backing us up and supporting us.
So something you might all be wondering is how do you manage DifferenceMaker? How do you manage your classes, your self-paced work, and our current clubs on campus? So Kara, how did you juggle work and school and DifferenceMaker?
Yeah, it's definitely stressful at times. I'm a junior biology pre-veterinary major, so I am actually applying to grad schools this semester, which is absolutely insane, but through my teammates and through my mentors, it's really great that they help me balance out all the tasks that our group needs to do. Obviously, Holly and Ha are amazing with making sure that we're staying on track and helping us with scheduling and making sure that we're doing monthly meetings and actually moving forward in our project, even though we have so much else going on in our lives.
And another thing we do with DifferenceMaker teams is we try to make them interdisciplinary. So you as business majors, if you have an idea for something medical like, we'll help you get into engineering, political science major. So Kara actually has a team to help her. So
was very lucky that my friends were spread across different things. We had a finance major, we have an engineering major, I have a biology aspect, so we already had a good spread. But I know a lot of people that didn't really have those connections outside of their major, and you can actually, on DifferenceMaker sites, Team Builder I think it's called, you can actually go in and put in all of the skills that you have and all of the skills you're looking for, and that'll help you be able to match with other people that are more spread out and have different viewpoints, which will really help you build your idea.
Awesome. And we're going to move on to Craig now, but if you have questions, we're going to have to do a session at the end. Like, not Craig. Ray, sorry, Craig's part of your team. Ray from invisaWear, his teammate Roger actually is here as well. So they are from team invisaWear. They won the 2016 Innovative Technology category, which was $45 million, and they're doing great things. And he's going to tell you all about it. So first, let's talk a bit about invisaWear. What is it?
Yeah, I just want to start off. Hey guys, thank you all so much for being here today. I'm excited. I was in your seats only just a couple of years ago, so I just graduated in May actually. I got my degree in electrical engineering. And so I started a company that actually spun out of invisaWear, out of DifferenceMakers. It's called invisaWear. We make smart jewelry that allows you to instantly call your friends, your family, and the police if you're ever in an emergency. So the idea stemmed from what would you do if you or someone you love was in an emergency, you're about to be attacked. There's no time for you to grab your phone out of your purse or your bag, dial 911 and call for help and tell someone exactly where you are. So we had this idea when we were students, we were seniors, and we decided to enter it for a DifferenceMaker competition. And I honestly don't think we would have continued on after we graduated and started this company without getting the resources, the funding that we needed in order to get started, because that's like really the hardest part, honestly, is figuring out where to start. So I'm super thankful to be here and be part of DifferenceMakers. Sure. So in the very beginning, we entered the idea for the idea challenge, and that's when you have to come up with a pitch. We engineers know nothing about presenting or anything, getting in front of judges, what are they looking for. So the DifferenceMaker team did a huge, incredible job with getting us prepared, figuring out how to articulate your problem to a panel of judges, figuring out what categories people are looking for in order to judge you, and then figuring out the opportunity for the market. Again, engineers, we don't know anything about the business sides of things, so it was sort of like getting a mini MBA in our own business, which was awesome. And then after we got the funding for the idea, we had to go out and build it, but before we did that, we went through a boot camp. So it was a month-long boot camp where we learned all of the customer discovery aspects of your business. Before you actually go out and build your product, it's really important for you to figure out what things people actually care about and what things people will want to pay for. So before you actually go spend time and resources in doing that, we're so thankful that we learned early on to go ahead and do that. And then we also got paired up with a mentor program. The mentor program is absolutely phenomenal. These people are alumni of the university. They have 30 years of experience growing their own businesses, just volunteering their time to genuinely help you. They're so nice. We actually just had a meeting this morning with one of our mentors that we had like 2 years ago. He's amazing, so we're super thankful for that. We have saved so much time in mistakes that we would have made had we not had those mentors. In growing businesses, there's no, you don't just all of a sudden know how to grow a business. It's something you really learn as you go. So it's really great to have that support system of the mentors who can be like, no, that's a crazy idea. You don't want to do that. And there's been many times where we're like, oh my gosh, thank God we have the mentors.
So this team won $4,500 2 years ago. So Ray, what have you accomplished in 2 years? And it's amazing.
Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. So we have done a lot. The product had to be developed, of course, so that was the first thing on our to-do list. As engineers, we designed prototypes. So we used the funding we got through DifferenceMakers to build the prototypes, and then once we could demonstrate that the technology was actually out there, it was feasible, then we took those prototypes, demonstrated it to investors. We did a lot of networking in the Boston area to figure out how to get funded for this business. And what we found is that for consumer products, it's incredibly difficult to get funded from institutional investors before you have any sales, before you have any traction or product. And so with a prototype, it was sort of like a chicken and the egg problem. You can't sell a prototype and you can't get sales or traction before you have money, and you can't get a product before you have money. So that was one of the biggest things we had to overcome, but having that background and building the prototypes and the resources that we had, we were able to overcome that. We were able to get funded. We have so far raised $500,000 in our first round of funding, which we've used to fully develop the product development. We actually just launched on Indiegogo. We're doing a crowdfunding campaign, so people can pre-order our product. That's where we're trying to demonstrate the sales and the traction. And we actually are very excited to announce that we met our goal last night. We raised about $20,000 in our first week of the campaign. So we're really excited about that. We're hoping to keep up the momentum. And I'm excited to see where it goes in the future too.
And I actually purchased one.
Yeah, we have my partner here in the audience too. She's wearing one of our necklaces. It comes in all different forms. So we have necklaces, bracelets, keychains, chokers, anything stylish people actually want to wear. And we'll always be coming up with new styles, trying to partner with new jewelry companies so that we can always keep up with the trends in fashion.
We'll send you a discount code, Holly, that's Sarah, that you want to.
So if you're interested, let Professor Finn know, and you can get you the discount code to actually purchase one. I purchased one myself, and Professor Finn purchased one.
Yeah, it's perfect. We built it for college students actually. So we found that there's many college students just walking outside late at night. We were out late in the lab studying late at night. So we just wanted peace of mind to give ourselves, knowing we can always get help whenever you need it.
And last but not least, Julie from Team Enable. So her team actually won the top prize in 2016, which is the campus-wide DifferenceMaker category. So they were awarded $6,000. So to start with, let's talk to the audience about what Enable is.
Yeah, so my name is Julie, and I'm from Enable Lowell, and we do 3D printed prosthetic devices. So we work a lot with kids with limb differences and physical disabilities. We work together with the Enable Community Foundation to get matched with recipients, and I'll show you how it works. So they're designed for kids that don't have a fully functioning hand or don't have a full hand. And it's essentially, if you think about it, like a shoe or like clothes with kids, they just grow naturally. So if you need the device, you would need to buy a new prosthetic every year, and it's about $7,000 to $10,000 for kids to replace these devices. If you use 3D printed prosthetics, it's between $7 and $10. So we just give that away to families for free, and it's a nonprofit, so we're able to communicate with families and recipients and just have that sort of relationship we built. So as you mentioned, we obviously won the $6,000 for the prize. We also got a chance to talk at the convocation where we won an additional $1,500. But I think the biggest resource for us has been the mentor program, as the others have mentioned. We started as a group of engineers and health science majors. We didn't really know what a project was or how to go forward with it. So we were matched with somebody that was able to help us with the project process. So we were able to track within our group who's working on what, how we can go forward with it, and how we can have a finalized product. And then also we were matched with Brenda, who worked with fundraising, which you see we're putting on another large fundraiser with comedy, music, food, other stuff like that. last year we were able to raise over $4,000. And she's also helped us with some of the legal side. She's a lawyer and was able to write some contracts between us and recipients so we can be on the same page and there's no lawsuits between us.
And there is a discount rate for students?
Yes, we just announced it yesterday. It's $20 for students. And if you want to email us, our email's right on there. We'll be able to give you that discount.
And there's food, there's a comedian. Last year was Tony B, a very well-known comedian. This year there's going to be 2 comedians, a jazz band, so $20 to get access to all these fun things.
And there'll be also raffles, and last year almost everybody went home with a prize, so hopefully we'll have enough raffle items again. And there's some cool silent auctions, sports memorabilia, and stuff like that.
So obviously you're making a difference in children's lives. So can you talk about some specific examples of that?
So over the summer, we were able to use some DifferenceMaker funds to travel down to Bridgewater. And we were at a Helping Hands convention, which is a whole group of kids with upper limb differences. And it was really just amazing to see all of them function and go through their daily life without their hands. We met one girl named Mia. She was 3 years old, and I'm sure as you can imagine, it's hard to really understand why you have this difference. She was 3 and had another twin 3-year-old. Her brother had 2 hands, and she did not understand why she only had 1. So as she was going forward, she kind of looked at herself and looked at others and tried to figure out a way that she could become normalized within her group, within her family. So what we did is we helped with her, and we were able to print her a device to give her that fully functioning hand as she wishes she had. So we were able to give her a hand that looked very similar to this, that was elbow actuated, so she could move at the elbow. And she was also really interested in horses. What she really wanted to do is to be able to sweep the barn with her mom. So this is our sweeping device. You guys can see it. It was just like a bonding activity her and her mom loved doing, so we created it and had it horse painted, horse themed, and another device. That second regular device for her was designed so she can hold a stuffed animal, something small, and her mom was in tears. It was such an amazing experience. It was the first time she was able to hold her first horse stuffed animal and also her mom's hand.
Thank you. All right, so are there any questions right now? We can open up for Q&A and then I'll ask more questions. We have different scores, Devin. In the back, so Devin, one of our co-op students, has DifferenceMaker prizes. So if you ask a question, you're going to get a DifferenceMaker prize. Yes.
So is the DifferenceMaker program like invest in a developing company? What percentage of the company would they own or they take a stake?
Hold on a second, I'm sorry. Can everybody just try to be as quiet as possible, just because it's very difficult to hear? So if you wouldn't mind just saying the question one more time, and everybody please stay quiet, thank you.
If the program invests in a prototype, what kind of stake would they take in the company if it takes off?
So you're asking if there's a piece that DifferenceMaker takes if you win the prize?
Yeah, or the schooling, I guess.
The school, okay, yeah.
So the school actually doesn't take any equity in the company, that's what you're asking? So if you come up with an idea, we don't take anything. We just want to see you be successful. So you can use our resources, you can use the funding that you get to further your idea. And the hope is that if you become successful, you'll give back to the school or pay it forward with another team in some type of way. Maybe become a mentor. So that's the goal. But we do not take any stake in the company whatsoever. So you would own 100% of whatever you come up with. Yeah, good question.
Yes.
So, where do you get started?
So where do you get started if you want to get involved? So DifferenceMaker Central is actually located right next to Starbucks on North Campus. So does everybody know where Starbucks is? You should, right? So we're located right there. So right before you go into Starbucks, there's a glass door with the DifferenceMaker logo on the door. You can come in there. We're open between 9 and 5. Sometimes we're out to meetings or something like that. So if we're not there for some reason, our email address is just differencemaker@uml.edu. So you can shoot us an email. We'll schedule a meeting with you. We'll talk to you about your idea and how to get involved. You all should have also, I think, received the DifferenceMaker postcards. So we have upcoming events. So this week we had the cancellation due to the snow. So we rescheduled our kickoff event to Monday. So we have a kickoff idea hack event that I think actually all of you attended those events. So it's Monday from 5:30 to 7 in the Saab E-Tech Atrium, and that building is located again next to Starbucks on North Campus. We're gonna have food, we're gonna have DifferenceMaker teams there presenting, and then we're going to do an ideation activity. So we're going to have you share your ideas, we're going to have you work in teams. So that's a great way to get involved, is come to the events and come to DifferenceMaker and talk to either me or the program manager about it, and then we can get you involved. And you got your prize? Did you get your prize? Awesome. Other questions? Any for the team? More about the program? Come on. Anyone? Yes.
All right, I have a question about the business. So, do you also work a full-time job, or do you just do it this way? Is that all you do, really?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now I am doing this full time, so very lucky and fortunate to have that. It definitely does take a big leap of faith for you to do that. A lot of times, especially when you're graduating and your parents are saying, well, are you going to go get a job and go get a salary with benefits and all of that? It's not really something that always exists in the startup world. But if you're really passionate about what you're doing and your idea, people will start to see that it's going to come true. So I did take the leap of faith. It's not easy for sure. I actually did this full time my senior year, so we won the idea challenge. It was my junior to senior year. I did a couple of co-ops while I was in college. So I did the 5-year plan. I was working full time at my co-op. I was doing my senior year design project, and I was doing DifferenceMakers as well. So I don't think I slept that semester. But my entire senior year, I dedicated to finishing college. That I highly recommend you finish college. That was another thing that came up, contemplating, oh, do I get my degree or my companies start to take off? Should I drop out? I highly recommend you stick with it. We're definitely very fortunate. We've been very lucky to be part of DifferenceMakers, and we just recently started taking very little amounts of salary. So we were very lucky to raise a good chunk of money to get us started. So, yeah, great question. Sure, that's a great question as well. So we designed it to be clumsy proof. Of course, my co-founder is super clumsy. That was on the top of her priority list. She was afraid of calling the police and having them show up. So we had to make it so that it was a substantial amount of pressure had to be pressed to activate the button. Additionally, it's a quick double press to make sure that accidentals are not. That's another great question. That was a tough problem to solve too, going to 911. Right now, there's almost no devices on the market that actually do go to 911. So we have an app that you set up when you first purchase the product. So you set up 5 emergency contacts that you wish to be notified. So those can be friends and family. And then they can receive a text with your exact location, or you can use the highly recommended police feature. It's called the Contact 911 feature. It's free, and it basically will connect your emergency contacts with 911 and then share your location. The way we're able to do that is we formed a partnership with a software company that's called Rapid SOS. They design software that works with every single 911 dispatch center in the entire US. So that gives us that capability in that partnership so that we can ensure your location can always be shared. It's actually a really big problem. Most people don't know this. If you were to call 911 from a cell phone right now, what happens is you get routed to a regional dispatch center. They have no idea where you are, so basically they get a range from the cell towers. If you don't know where you are, or if you just can't speak, they have no way of finding you. 10,000 people die each year because of this very reason. So because of that, we are able to go directly to the closest dispatch center nearest to you and then solve that problem of getting your location to 911, to helping you save your life, essentially.
cannot deny I am a perfectionist. I have a really hard time not, having my fingers in every single part of it. And it was always like, you know how when you're in like a group project and sometimes you end up being the only person doing everything? So I would do that to myself. So it was, a really hard thing for me to be able to learn how to divvy out tasks, how to trust somebody else to actually do it for me. And I mean, I have an amazing team, so there was no reason I shouldn't have trusted them, but it was definitely a big thing that the mentors had to really help me with, of being able to give up that control.
That's great advice. There are a lot of you who are very smart.
Exactly.
Awesome, thank you. Julie, how about you?
So I would say the greatest struggle for the difference maker process was probably just the application. Starting, we were just a group of health science engineering people that couldn't together figure out what a business plan even meant. So with the help of difference maker, we were able to kind of go through it and step back and really think about it more on like a logical level. What do we do? We were just trying to really help and make a change in our community and didn't really think about it as a business. We are a UMass Lowell club, so it was originally started as more like a club idea, trying to make a change here at UMass Lowell instead of going more business route. But as we continued and as we progressed, we kind of started with the nonprofit business models. We were able to go forward with that.
So if students want to get involved with the club, how would they do that?
So yeah, we're an open club. We meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6:30 at the Makerspace, which is in the basement of Falmouth. If anybody wants to come, we're always looking for business majors.
All right, other questions? Yes,
I have a question for Lowell.
for Nate, okay?
I was just wondering, are you looking to expand outside of Lowell or the state of Massachusetts?
So as of now, we go around to different, like I mentioned, helping hands. We meet a lot of people at different events. So the people we've met have been very local. There has been some international people. We've shipped things out to Haiti, places in Africa, and also Florida, Maine, different places like that. Our goal is kind of to start local, help the people in the neighborhood, and then go forward and expand from there.
Other questions? All right, I'll throw this over to the whole group. So what advice do you have for these students if they're interested in getting involved in this? All of you.
I would say the biggest thing is just don't be afraid to do it. So often we go, oh, I have this great idea, but I don't think I can do it, or somebody else will do it, or there's someone more capable than me. There is no reason that you can't do what you want to do. I mean, I'm not an engineer. I knew absolutely nothing about how to put together a green roof. I just knew that I really wanted to sit on the top of a building and do my homework there. So, I mean, I had absolutely no reason that I should be somebody that's starting a team leading this. But I still did it anyways, and you guys can do that too. So don't let yourself, convince yourself that you can't be the person to start a new team.
That's great advice. I totally agree with that. I would say my advice to you is don't be afraid to ask for advice. You would be so surprised at the amount of times that people are so willing to just give you their advice or their help and expect nothing in return. There's so many people out there. I don't think I've ever had someone say, no, I won't help you, or no, I don't want to give you my advice. So don't be afraid to ask, because you never know what's going to come out of it. There's so many times that we've had things, we've just asked people for their advice, and then so many good things have come out of it, and it's just really incredible. So definitely don't be afraid to ask for advice.
I would say also don't be afraid to fail. The founders of Enable Lowell tried to submit ideas 3 times, and finally their senior year they were able to get something. So if you guys have a really cool idea freshman year and it doesn't go all the way to the top, keep going, keep trying. You might have something better. You might be able to work with some people or even build upon that.
So that's great advice. So to Julie's point, I want to actually talk about the application a little bit. So since our kickoff is rescheduled to Monday evening, we're actually extending our application deadline to the 19th. So you basically have a whole other week. You have a weekend to think about it. and submit. I also want to make a point that just because you submit an application, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily married to that idea or that team. Your idea will evolve throughout the process and your team may change. So even if you're just a team of one and you think you have a really cool idea, submit it, because we'll help you get a team, we'll help you work through your idea. So the first step, like these DifferenceMaker students mentioned, was just submit the application. It's basically like you're registering to get involved. So it's definitely the first step. Come to the kickoff. We all hope to see you there. And are there any other questions? Devin, how many more prizes do we have? A lot, so let's go. Who wants a DifferenceMaker prize? Oh, awesome. Yes.
Do you want to be on a Shark Tank in something?
Do you want to be on a Shark Tank with the show? So I think invisaWear actually applied, but I'll throw this out to you.
So for us, where we're not selling a product, we're probably not at that stage quite yet. We're more of a grant nonprofit. We've done a lot of work through the schools. That's where most of our funding so far.
I think it depends on your business. For us, I think we would love to be on Shark Tank. It would be a great opportunity for us to get exposure for our product and also connect with investors. So for us specifically, what we would want is to partner with a shark who can go and call up any jewelry company, Pandora, Alex Anani, and say, hey, I have this company, it has this amazing innovative technology, and you can come up with your own designs and jewelry, and that's all you need to do, and we'll worry about the rest. So for us, we would love to. We actually went to a casting call in Somerville over the summer, so we got a call back from them. They were pretty interested. We're hoping maybe in a year or two that we could go on the show, but right now we're just sort of waiting. But yeah, we would definitely love to.
Weir's is a nonprofit, so other questions? Yes, Jack.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, when you're making your team, when you're doing, making your product, does it ever happen that after you're done with the school, which is part of it, that a faculty member will assist you in actually business itself?
I'm so sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sorry. Does it ever happen that after, like, the DifferenceMaker program is over for a student and they exit the school, that faculty member will join on and help with whatever field they're in?
Oh yes, the DifferenceMaker faculty, we still are very involved with them, like after we graduated. So that's a huge resource. Once you become sort of like an alumni of the program, they're always there to support you anytime, and we're always there to give back and help in any way we can. So definitely, yes.
So like Ray mentioned, yes, the faculty do continue to work with the students afterwards. A lot of our faculty actually become official mentors through the program. So we have alumni, community folks, we have faculty, even some DifferenceMaker teams that have graduated and are now 5 or 6 years out are mentors as well. So even after you graduate, DifferenceMaker is still here to help you, as well as all of our resources, as long as you stay engaged. The other point I wanted to make was, so DifferenceMaker is a very small piece of the innovation ecosystem at UMass Lowell. So if you outgrow DifferenceMaker or you need additional resources, we'll connect you to all of those resources. So I actually want to bring up a point to Ray now about the loan program. So we have the makerspace, which can help you with prototypes. We have a medical device incubator if you have an idea around something health-based. And we also have other funding opportunities. So I actually just want to throw this question out to Ray because he was involved in one of those additional funding opportunities.
There's so many opportunities. So we started out, we needed, first I would say too, in terms of resources, we needed some office space. So UMass Lowell owns a building downtown that's called the Innovation Hub. We got to work out of there. That was huge, sort of setting up a workspace and having meetings with people, meeting manufacturers. And then also in terms of other resources, there's other accelerators out there. So we've joined a program called E4All. That's in Lowell, and that was a huge resource for us that DifferenceMaker actually introduced us to. And we got paired up with more mentors, and it was a 12-week intensive program we went through there. And then we also did an additional accelerator after that. It's called Mass Challenge. It's the world's largest accelerator. I think they let in 2,500 companies every single year apply. Only 128 get in, so we were very fortunate to get into that, the top 8% all over the world. And then once we needed funding as well, DifferenceMaker actually came in, the university, they wrote us a recommendation letter for a very generous loan that was a very low interest rate for $100,000. So the university wrote us a recommendation letter saying, this company has done everything in its power to be prepared to pay this loan back, essentially. So there's a loan program called the Lowell Development Financial Corp. And what it is a consortium of banks in Lowell. Typically, you can't get a bank loan for a business this early on, especially without sales. But because we had that recommendation from the university, that was huge in order for us to get funded. And that jump-started a lot of the development costs that we needed. Don't be afraid to pursue and follow your dreams. I think we already mentioned that, but I can't stress that enough. I've heard so many people throughout the course of just meeting and connecting people saying, oh, I have this great idea, I wish I had done it, someone else came along with. You don't want to live the rest of your life wondering like what could have been, so don't be afraid to take a leap of faith.